The big thing about Linux is there's too much choice. Okay, so what happens is you bounce around between different distributions and you try to find the one that fits you. But are you actually doing any work on Linux? That's the trick. With Mac and Windows, it's interesting, isn't it? Where you stick with them, you complain about them, but you get your work done on them. Linux is a bit of an oddity because you go, oh, I like that, Bazite, let's try Catchy, let's try this, so you bounce around. So if, you have to come to a point though, if you've got to move over to Linux, you have to sort of decide on one for the time being, and then basically commit to it and work out how to work on it. So that's the trick. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at, obviously if you've seen the other videos, I've already got DaVinci Resolve installed on here because I'm doing edit work, etc. And so what I'm going to show you in this video is sort of the bits around it. So having an editing tool on a workstation, Linux, this is Omarchy, by the way, it isn't enough. You need to have other tools around it. And I'll show you some of the shortcomings with something like Omarchy, but they're not really shortcomings. They're just you have to, as with the whole thing with Omarchy, you have to work differently. So I'll show you the ways around it and these extra bits you need. And then in the next video I do, I'll actually do a proper edit. And I won't just show you how to edit. What I'll do is something that's technical. So making a television commercial in the United Kingdom for broadcast requires a certain lineup, it's called. So we'll just go through a broadcast lineup and show you how it's done. Because the thing is, whenever you shoot, you should always try and shoot for the highest quality because you never know if it goes to broadcast. You never know. I've had things we've shot for the web, apparently, that ended up on primetime television. Good job we shot them in ProRes, do you know what I mean? So it's always good to work with that high quality. Anyway, so what we'll do is look at some additional tools and set up on here so they just help you do your editing and that kind of stuff. Get the material in, edit it, transform stuff, and then put it into Resolve. Anyway, so let's dive in. Okay, so here we are, we're at Omarchy now. Whenever you've been shooting, the first thing you've got to do is get the material off the camera cards into your editing system. Now, I'm just going to bring up DaVinci Resolve and I'll show you what you've got in there. So I've done my key binding. I've removed Docker and switched Super D to DaVinci Resolve. So I think I'll show you that in one of the other videos. It's very simple to do. So here's Resolve. And let's just create a new project. So here in the media pool, you have this tool, click up there, called the clone tool. Now, if you're Windows or PC, you could basically just, I'll show you. Let's bring up Finder. And what you can do, I've got a Canon card here off of a Canon C70. You could click Add Job, and then you could just sort of drag that over. It won't work. And then drag your destination, which won't work either. It's interesting, this sort of Wayland Windows problems, even on the new POP, because the guys at POP System 76 actually sent me a note about the problem I had with drag and drop, and they're sort of working on it. On Omarchy, I don't know we'll ever get it to work properly, but there's ways around it. So how do I get my card material onto my drives? So let's just get rid of that. And let's get rid of Resolve. Now, obviously, you fundamentally just copying files, aren't you? You're not doing anything extra, but you do need to do checksum, and you do need a really simple interface. Now, thankfully, in the AUR, or I think it's in the Omarchy repository, there's a really good app that you can use. So let's just go into here, add apps, and it's called Grsync. Now, Grsync has been around forever. It's a Linuxy thing. It's for copying stuff over. There's tons of GUI versions. I just found this really simple. So it's really simple. So if I go over here, open, and there's my Canon drive. Okay, click that one, and then I'm going to put it into my video folder. Now, if I was doing this in the real world, I would never copy camera source material onto my operating system drive. You just don't do that. You put it onto a RAID. You'd never have your material on the same drive as you have an operating system on. That's just a major no-no. So yes, we'll put it there for now because it's just demoing. And then one thing I would check on here is always checksum, which basically means when it's copied, it's checked that what it's copied is the same as what was on the original. So then just click Start. And it'll start to copy the files over. There you go, pretty quick. Bear with me whilst it copies over. So yeah, so you could have masses of files to do this copying with. I mean, you could do it any way you want to copy. You want to do a copying thing with checksum, and then just copy over, really. I mean, on Mac and PC, you've got Hedge, you've got shot put, you've got all these, these things that you can actually use to do proper apps for it. But on here, we're using this. I mean, obviously, there's tons of, you just file copy. You're not doing anything extra. He says, here it goes. It's getting there, 240 megs per second, so it's doing okay. I've only got, this is a Minis Forum box, so I haven't got much I/O on the back of this thing. Okay. And we're done. So if I now go into my contents, clips, there's the proxies that came over. So there you go. That's a simple way to get your files off the system. Slows that down, slows that down. Now, that's one little app, that's copying. So sometimes you get files you want to convert into different formats. Now, there's a brilliant app called Shuttersnitch. I tried to get this off the AUR. It just wouldn't work. So I wrote a script because I just couldn't be bothered. So here's the script. So let's just go into downloads. And I've got a copy. Let me just move all this out of the way. New folder with selected items, stuff. Okay, so I've downloaded the latest version. It's the .db from the Shutter Encoder website. Okay, Shutter Encoder website. And I wrote a script. So basically, let's bring up, now I can't use the terminal in this because it doesn't work for me. Apps, and just bring up console. Okay, and then I'll put the link to the script up there. You just basically go chmod plus x, drag that puppy over there, do that. And it's the same as my Resolve scripts. You just need the DB file, the file in the downloads. It has to be the downloads folder. And then you just run this, and then your password, big password. And it's doing some detection, putting stuff in. It'll do a lot more because I've already installed it. And then it says you can run it via a command line, which you wouldn't want to do. Or if you go in here, go to apps, it should now, you go to, the first one's there because of a failed app image instance when I was messing around trying to get this up. So for me, it's the second one. Here you go, launches. Now, just don't know, if you try and do this via Flatpak, I don't know what goes on. You get like the tiniest version of this program on the planet. So let's just do it this way. And what does it do? Now, again, we're into the world of let's bring up a file manager. We're into the world of problematic drag and drop. It just doesn't do it. So if I drag, I've got in my video folder, I've got some clips. I can't believe it's done it. It didn't do this earlier on. I had a bit of an epic. Okay, maybe because I've rebooted. Anyway, you can drag and drop into it. That's pretty cool. That didn't do that earlier. So I suppose as long as you're in the same window, there you go, another one. All right, so I've got these are just stock art clips. We'll use them in the commercial thing later on. Drag them in. Then if you look down here, you've got tons of functions for conversion. So you can make them H.264, you can do whatever you want. So you can just change them over. I won't do that now, but let's just delete that one, not delete that one. But the one that you can do that's quite handy, I mean, you've got Resolve to convert stuff, but I suppose this would be handy if you wanted to convert your H.264 or H.265 files into something you could edit, like ProRes LT, in the free version of DaVinci Resolve on here, because obviously if you don't have the paid version, you don't get the H.264 anyway. So now I've got some music. So just grab that and I can just convert that, say that's what's that, MP3, and I need it as a WAV and output to same folder. Up this pops, start function, cancel. I don't want to overwrite it, do I? MP3 output to WAV 16-bit. Let's make it 24-bit or something. And then open destination and change destination. And we'll put it into documents and then start. Yep, and that's done. So that would have converted over. If we go to home documents, in there is there. So it's converted to WAV. So you can convert between audio formats. Let's just go back to let's just go back. Let's fire back up again. Apps, shutter. So you've got a billion functions. There's even if you look into this, you've even got like a rip the web on the bottom here. You've got tons of stuff that you can play with. The script tries to pull in every dependency you need for everything. I don't know if I got the DVD bit, but I got as much in there as I can. You can cut without re-encoding, video inserts. It's like an army knife. So you've got that, so you can convert formats. And so, I mean, the other thing that you need, obviously, is something to edit audio with. So this is a classic. Let's get the apps. If I can type, there it is. So this has been around since I've been using the internet, I think. So it's just an audio editor, it's a brilliant free audio editor. So basically, if I go to video, it's gone off there a bit, downloads. Let's try that again. File, open, there we go, it's better. Downloads, not downloads, was it in shutter, video, music. Let's get rid of these, 30-second clip, open, there we go. So we can muck around in here to our heart's content. Pitch and speed change stuff, all the fun of the fair with an audio package that you can use. So there you go. So that's audio, and you've got your copying software to bring it in. Let me just get rid of that. I was trying to save it for you. Quit Audacity. No. Okay, so you've got it off the cards, you've got it in, you get it into the, I mean, the other thing that you'd need, and it's actually built in, I don't need to do anything for that, you need to get notes. So basically there's two things you've got in here, which is already built in, that's brilliantly, they put it in here, is, let's go into you've got Obsidian, which is great for note taking. Here we are, create a new role. Oh God, hang on, let's just do that. Quick start. So you can keep notes and stuff in here. I mean, I think this is a bit of a larger thing. And the other one is the, close that, go back in apps, you've got Typora, that you can keep notes in. Now you have to pay for the 15. You can just keep notes in here. It's the unregistered version, it's $15. It's well worth getting. So you've got like a notes program to play with. You know, you can keep track of what you're doing, scripts, all that sort of stuff. So I can't think of anything else. Obviously, the other thing is you can put Dropbox on here if you need to get your files to somebody. Dropbox is integrated into this, so you just need to log in. So you've got Dropbox, you've got audio, you've got offload, and then you've got your editing package. So there you go. So those are the tools you'll probably, I can't think of anything else that I've ever had to use. I mean, speed conversions and stuff like that, you'll have to try and do in Resolve. I wouldn't use something like, I mean, basically Shutter Encoder is FFmpeg with a great GUI, but I can't really think of anything else that you potentially need. So anyway, in the next video that I do, I'll actually do an edit for you, as I said at the beginning of this, and we'll basically go through putting an edit together and exporting it, just a standard workflow for that. Anyway, I hope that's useful. Thanks for watching.